I take flourishing to be the nurturing of certain virtuous or positive qualities of the mind that are the pillars of human well-being. We know something from both a scientific and a contemplative perspective about these components. And our view, and it is a view supported by, I think, considerable scientific research, that if these constituents are nurtured sort of upstream, it will help an individual when adversity occurs. And to paraphrase the bumper sticker, stuff happens. We can't buffer ourselves from adversity. And so the thing we do have control over is our own mind, and we can train it in ways that I think will improve our ability to handle adversity when it does arise.
So can you talk a little bit about what those traits are? You said there's certain viewpoints or traits that you can develop that'll help with flourishing. What does the research talk about there?
Four components of well-being. The first we call awareness, and in awareness we would include what historically, traditionally may be included in mindfulness. We prefer the term awareness. It's more neutral. It includes the capacity to focus attention. It also includes meta-awareness, which is the quality of knowing what your mind is doing. Now that may seem a little bit strange to our viewers, but in fact, all of us, I'm sure, can think of times when we're not aware of what our minds are doing. I often ask people in large audiences, how many people have ever had the experience of reading a book where they're actually reading each word on a page, turning a page, turning a second page, and after a couple of pages, they realize they have no idea what they've just read. Their mind is elsewhere. Well, that is a lapse in meta-awareness. And so we believe that meta-awareness actually is a necessary ingredient for transformation, and it can be nurtured. So that the first component is awareness. The second component we call connection. And connection refers to those qualities that promote harmonious social and interpersonal relationships. Qualities like appreciation and gratitude and kindness and empathy and having a positive outlook. All of those are really important. And we know, for example, that social relationships can be an important buffer in coping with adversity. And so being able to nurture those kinds of social connections is really important. The third quality we call insight. And insight is about self-knowledge. It is about knowing at a very deep experiential level what the narrative that we all carry around about ourselves really is, what it's composed of. We all have this narrative about ourselves. And at the very extreme, there are people who have very negative self-beliefs and who actually believe the beliefs, believe that these thoughts are a true depiction of who they are. And of course, that's a prescription for depression. And so an important ingredient of well-being is having a healthy relationship to this narrative, being able to see this narrative for what it actually is, which is really just a bunch of thoughts. Finally, and I should also say with regard to this component of insight, this really is a very important component in helping us decrease this solid and fixed sense of self, which we believe is at the root of a lack of resilience. It's at the root of emotions that perseverate beyond the point where they're useful. We call this stickiness, for lack of a better term. Finally, there is the component of purpose. And purpose is really about helping a person discover what her or his true north is, where their life is directed, and most importantly, aligning their everyday behavior with their core sense of purpose. So each of these four constituents has a wealth of scientific evidence around it. Each of these four constituents exhibits plasticity, So we know that they can be trained. And we believe that training all four is really essential to promote human flourishing.